Alright, here we are for another installment of J.Varizzle the Fisher, kayak fishing in southeastern North Carolina and more. If you watched the inaugural video, you probably noticed that I didn't catch any fish. First video, no fish. That was the one where I was in the Cape Fear River. And you know what? That's what happens sometimes. So I wanted to keep this channel realistic and authentic. So I decided to post the first video anyway, even though I didn't catch any fish. It's fishing an area of the Cape Fear River that I really wasn't all that familiar with. I've never fished it before. And I was talking to my dad, it's funny, talking to my dad, and I was like, yeah, telling him about the video, and I was like, man, it just kind of sucks that I didn't even catch one fish while I was out there. And he said, well, son, you know that happens sometimes, right? I said, good point, good point. I've been fishing since I could walk, probably. Been a long time. One thing is you learn something every time you go out, whether you catch a fish or not. You're not going to catch fish every time. A lot of times you see these videos on YouTube or fishing shows in general, and it's crazy because all you see is them reeling in fish after fish after fish, and it's exciting. It is. It's fun to watch. I watch it too. But is it really realistic? You know, I mean, there are days you're going to have like that where you're out there and you're catching them cast after cast. I had a day like that the other day where it seemed like every cast or every other cast I was pulling one in. But that was not the day that I had when I was in River Road, and to be expected, you know. Just got to learn your area. So today, and I apologize if there's a little wind noise, it's a little bit breezy today, but today I'm going to be fishing an area that I've fished before. I've caught fish here, and I've fished it from a boat, and I've also kayak fished it. I happen to have caught the biggest fish, or biggest largemouth bass that I've ever caught. Really is the biggest fish that I've ever caught in a kayak. I caught a 4-pound largemouth out of here from the kayak. This was last year. You know, and I don't know if the fish are still where I was fishing last time. I'm probably going to have to do some exploration. Probably going to have to throw a lot of lines to see if I can get into something, you know, but hopefully in the second video, maybe we'll actually catch a fish. And I'm gonna tell you, if you fight a 4-pound bass from a kayak on 6-pound monofilament line with either light action or medium action rod, you're gonna feel it. It's gonna feel like fighting a marlin, to be honest with you. It was a blast. It was exhilarating. And that's what you fish for, you know? I mean, that's what you want to get into, at least every now and then, keep you motivated. But it's all about getting out here and learning the area and just having an adventure, you know? And that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this just to show people that you don't have to spend an arm and a leg. You'll see that what I use is not high dollar stuff, you know, and I'll do an equipment review and tell you what I'm fishing with today. But it's all about just getting out and doing it and just enjoying it if it's what you like to do. And I've had quite a bit of fun doing this, so I figured why not post it and share it with other people, and maybe it'll motivate someone else to get out and try kayak fishing or just fishing in general. So that's what we're going to do. I'll tell you a little bit about the area that we're at today. We're actually going to fish Sutton Lake. It's in New Hanover County. And like I said, I've fished it a few times and I've caught some bass here before. And that's what this lake is really known for. It's largemouth bass and also carp. They have some monster carp in this lake. I'm not going to be doing any carp fishing. I have no idea what to do even to try to catch a carp. I think it's just sheer luck. I had some people that I knew actually bow fished carp out of here, and they would bring them in, you know, I mean, they were 3 feet long, 4 feet long. But we're going to primarily focus on largemouth bass and maybe a brim if we can hook into that. I'm sure there's some decent sized brim in here as well. Try to avoid the gators if we can. I know they're in here as well, and it is that time of year. We're in June now, and even though it's after 6 o'clock in the evening at this point, you can still see it's really light out and it's above 80 degrees yet. So got to be mindful of that as well. Before we get underway, I'm going to walk over to the kayak, and Sutton Lake actually just installed a brand new fancy kayak launch. It's really nice. If you're into kayaking or kayak fishing and you haven't checked this spot out, it's something that you probably want to do. Before we get going, you can probably see that I'm wearing my 910 Outdoors hat, and you'll see the 910 Outdoors sticker on the back of the juck there. So I just wanted to give a little plug to my friends 910 Outdoors. If you like turkey hunting or if you like waterfowl hunting, go check out their channel because they're professionals, and I'm gonna tell you, they do way better at this than I do. They got better videos, they got better editing, they got better equipment, they've been doing this for longer. And if turkey hunting or waterfowl hunting is something you're into, go give them a subscribe. You know, I'm not doing this for any kind of corporate sponsorship or anything like that. I'm just out here having fun and videoing it and sharing it with other people. But I will tell you about the equipment that I use because I think it's important to understand that, you know, what I do is not going to cost you an arm and a leg. You know, you're not going to have to take out a loan. Like I said last time, I don't have a $2,500 kayak. You know, I've got a $300 lifetime Tioga that I bought from Tractor Supply. And again, like last video, you'll see I'm wearing my Bass Dash PFG type shirt, Bass Dash fishing shirt for UV protection. I love them. You know, this one without the hood, $9.99, $10 on Amazon. The one with the hood is $15. And I'm not telling you this to discourage you from getting like Columbia PFG or any of the high-end stuff, because that stuff's really great. It is. You're just gonna pay a little bit more for it. And if you got it and that's what you want, by all means, I'm not knocking them. I have some PFG myself, and it's good stuff. But for what I do out here and not worrying about getting stuff messed up and spending $30 on a shirt instead of, you know, 10, I'll just take the Bass Dash and run with it. So enough chatter. Let's go show you the equipment and then get underway with this. All right, like I said, Sutton Lake now has this new fancy kayak launch where you can get your kayak all set up to go and then just pull yourself down the launch and you're underway at that point. A couple areas around here have these, and they're really nice. This, of course, again, is my lifetime Tioga kayak. Bought it at Tractor Supply for like $300. It is 10 foot, just so you know. I know there's different lengths to kayaks, and you know, the longer you get, the more stable your platform is, but my truck bed is only 5 foot long, so I really don't want anything sticking too far out of it. So half of the kayak's in, half the kayak's out. It seems to work well for me. It's about 50 pounds, so it's not overly heavy, and it's a little bit getting it in and out of the truck, but it's not too bad. I try to get as close to the ramp as I can so I don't have to carry it too far, because I don't have one of those carts, which would be really nice to have, really fancy. They really help you with trying to get your kayak down to where you want to launch at. Again, I have your Hawkeye Fish Tracks 1C fish finder. Those run about $115 on Amazon again, or you can find them from the Hawkeye page. And it's battery operated, portable fishing depth finder, similar to the Garmin's. Garmin's about comparable to it. Price wise, they are as well. Got my kayak anchor there. Works really well. I showed you in the last video. I had anchor down and go ahead and it'll stay put. And depending on what side you put it on is the side that you're going to face. So you always just work with the current, work with it in your favor. I've got 3 just your standard spinning reels today that I'm going to be playing with. This one right now has a little wacky worm set up on it, which I didn't believe in until I tried it, and then I tried it and was catching fish on it, so I said, well, why not just stick with it. This one is, let me see if I can, there we go. All right, we just got a little spinnerbait on that bad boy, just a little brim simulated spinnerbait. It works good for your panfish. And then, of course, I've still got tied on my shiny shad Rapala number 7 floating minnow. I'm gonna tell you, I like this one. This one's good. I've caught some fish on it, but the silver right there, that is the game changer for me. I've caught more fish on that number 7 Rapala silver floating minnow than I have anything else in my box over the years. It works really, really well. It's good to fish close to cover, but again, you see them treble hooks, so it's not going to be weedless. If you want to go weedless, you want probably more of the weedless hook on the wacky worm, and it all depends on what situation you're fishing. I threw a net in there just to have one. I'm probably not going to need it or not going to use it. I've got my little dry box there, so I can put my wallet and my truck key in there. Won't get them soaked. This is actually a rod holder that is aftermarket that I mounted. The kayak comes with 2 regular rod holders on it. This thing was, I think, $15 at Bass Pro Shop, and the way that it's set up in a quick draw configuration is, you know, if I reach back here, it'll pull up for me and I can just pop it right out and then just jam it right back in, and it works pretty well. So I added that not too long ago so I can carry 3 rods without any issues. And I always carry, of course, a life preserver. And today, actually, I brought, I don't know if you can see it, but I brought my little knockoff GoPro. It's not a GoPro brand, it's actually HLS. And I'm going to play with that along with the Google Pixel 6 and see what I can get the best video quality with. But here we are, and we're getting ready to launch this thing. And I'm just going to show you, this is the boat ramp. So there's where your standard boat launch is, and then the kayak launch, of course, is over here. We're actually going to be heading that direction. So you can see where those that shelf kind of juts out, where those trees are and that grass. We're actually going to go that way, and then we're probably going to round that curve and try a little bit past there at first, and then work our way back to the boat ramp. What I like to do is kind of check the current, and I'll try to go against the current on my way out, and then by the time you're done fishing, you know, you're tired, you're worn out at that point. So try to use the current to help me get back in. It doesn't always work out that way, but try to do it when you can. It makes life a little bit easier. So let me get saddled up on this thing and we'll get rolling. All right, first thing we're going to start out with is the shiny shad rapala here, and just see what we got going on. Might be a little shallow, but we're about to find out. A lot of times what I like to do is just kind of let it sit for a second. And you can jig this thing, or you can just straight reel it, and I typically just straight reel it. It's just easier. I haven't had any big difference between jigging and reeling, honestly. And you can see it's got a good action to it. That's why I like it. Like I said, you don't have to do much with it. Just let it sit and then reel. And the only thing you do got to do is get to where the fish are, which I might need to move, but we'll check it and see. Spin the kayak a little bit here. There we go. Slide me around. And people ask me sometimes, like, why do you have a paddle kayak versus a pedal kayak? And I'll tell you, the pedal kayaks are great. You know, there's nothing, I don't have anything against them. It's just, you're gonna pay a lot more for them. And they have their pros and their cons. I mean, you're gonna have to watch how deep a water you're in, because you gotta think the pedals actually protrude underneath the kayak. So like right now we're in 4.3, but if we drifted up into, you know, 2 foot, 1 foot range, shoot, we might ground the pedals. And or if I want to beach it, I'd have to stow the pedals before I did that. It's at least a nice, calm, bright, sunny day. Oh, there we go. No, maybe not. Too busy talking, not busy enough setting. But that tells you right there, they're in here. There we go. Now we're on. Or we might be snagged. I think we're snagged. I don't know. Can't tell. Nah, I think we're snagged. All right. Well, this happens. We're gonna have to pause video and let us reset here. All right, so we're free. There was a big piece of structure over there and ended up getting snagged up. But that's the cool thing about a kayak, is that you can get yourself unsnagged virtually anywhere. There's a lot of bait fish jumping over here. I'm just gonna see if I can't get close to those reeds and maybe get something to hit it. It does dive a little bit more than I was hoping it would, because this is really shallow, skinny water. Picked up some reed. Picked up some shell there. Alright. I got into some grass apparently. Got a little tangle. And we're good. Try to hit that cove real quick and just see. It's pretty darn close. Try to slow reel in that shallow, see if something will hit it. Oh yeah, there you go. There's a largemouth. Try to keep my rod tip up. Hopefully I'm getting this on video. Oh, he's decent. He is decent. Oh, came off. It's pretty darn close. Slow reel in the shallow. See if something hit it. Oh yeah, there you go. There's a largemouth. Try to keep my rod tip up. Hopefully I'm getting this on video. Oh, he's decent. He is decent. Oh, came off. Well, fair to say he was probably about a 3-pounder or so. Nice fish. But I guess we can't count him technically. But at least you saw some action on the kayak. Let's hit that hole again, see what we got. That largemouth head shake, it'll get you sometimes. I hope you guys actually got a look at that fish though. That thing was nice. Let's make sure our minnow's good to go. Yeah. Drop it in there. Oh, something big jumping behind us. All right. See if we can get up in that pocket. Again, maybe. Not quite. Something behind me is tearing it up. the bottom on that. Ah, got a little bit of grass. Sorry if my videography is not the best. I'm still trying to figure all this stuff out, but I'm gonna try to see what I can do. Sometimes I just like to let it sit, just let it float after it hits the water, kind of let things calm down. And then I'll start the reel. Ooh, something ain't feeling right with that. I am tangled up. Well, let's see if we can't fix that real quick. Of course, he's gonna jump right there and right there. All right, every now and then you get the bird's nest, so just get him worked out. Everything keeps hitting behind me, I'm gonna cast behind me. That's the other cool thing about a kayak is you can pretty much put it 360 almost. Nada. Clamshell there. Give her one more cast with this thing and then we might switch it up and see. All right, so we switched up locations a little bit. I went further back, closer towards the boat ramp, and we're gonna be fishing a point that has a lot of grass. And I've seen some fish jumping around. We'll see what we can get into. We just had a bass boat buzz by us really quick, and that's one thing you gotta be mindful of with the kayak is you're gonna get some wake from people that don't really pay any attention to you being there. So kayak's really stable though, it floats really well, we'll be fine. And I'm gonna, ooh, well, let me rotate the camera around and that fish just jumped right there. So fish jumping there, we got the grass bed going on, and then we got the point down there. And that's what we're gonna be working with, more fish jumping out there. So there you have it. That's what we got going on. We'll see if we can catch some. We're fishing with the number 5 Rapala silver this time rather than the shiny shad. I seem to have misplaced the number 7, my favorite, so we'll see what we can hook into. Maybe the 5 will work. We'll move down a little bit further. We've got the point that we're working with, and I don't know if you can hear it, but they're jumping all around. They're jumping all out that way as well. Haven't been able to hook into anything yet. I'm gonna switch up, try a skirted spinnerbait, and I've had some luck with these in the past, so we'll give it a whirl. It's all about trying to figure out what they want to take. The number 5 Rapala I think is a little too small for them, and I wish I had that number 7 sitting around, but I must have knocked it. Hopefully it's in the kayak somewhere, but we're gonna throw some spinnerbait out there and see what happens. Well, actually got into a little fish action today. Hopefully I recorded it. I have no idea. I looked at one point and I believe I was recording the inside of my shirt, or it was rear facing, you know, like selfie mode, but I had it in a chest mount, and unfortunately all I recorded was darkness, so have no idea. I did the head mount HLS, which is your off-brand GoPro. Again, I don't know how that video came out. There were times where I didn't know if I was recording or not. I got a lot to learn with this videography, but you know what? None of that matters right now, because if you look behind me, you see that sunset? That's what it's all about right there. Getting out here, enjoying that. It is peaceful, it is calm, And it was another fishing adventure with J.Varizzle the Fisher. And I'm out for now.